The recording is started. So again, oh, welcome and thank you very much for spending time tonight to attend our group training. There's a couple that on the call that I see that have attended some of my mentorship programs or currently in the past otherwise. So thanks also for continued connections here for everybody so that we can have good group questions, and then that only provides an opportunity for more discussion. So specifically, the training that we're having right now is called for Design Fundamentals. And this is an outcome of a opportunity that was put out by Nebulous LLC, which we'll introduce here in a moment, to be trained as an electrical engineer one. And there was a wealth of applicants, and many qualified for what was the posting asking for or seeking out what was the right fit candidate. So it was a very difficult selection. But we were very excited about how many were interested in understanding more about electrical design. So as was noted in the posting, if there were a lot of submissions, there would be group training. I didn't know at the time that two would make sense, but of the number of people that submitted, there's a portion that needed maybe introduction to the industry. So last night was the training one of two, and that was introduction to design. And the difference between that and this was necessarily pretty high level in discussions there, although it was only within 1 hour's worth of time. So there's an amount of high level that happens regardless there. And I'm sure also I was too high level in some cases for the amount of time. So of course, those who attended, and I see some that are returned as well. So thanks for continued interest. That please feel free to reach out on me. I'm very open to receiving emails and happy to correspond as I have availability to talk and answer questions. So, but the difference in this one being that this group of was more so already in the industry potentially and not necessarily doing design work, or potentially doing design work and just needs to run faster. So the goal of this group training was for this group of people that have a little bit more exposure. If something comes up that you don't know, don't feel like just because this is a fundamentals class or a group session that you can't ask questions. Please ask questions. Whatever is question, any question is a good one, and it causes an opportunity for the group to hear just more perspectives. So that's what we're here for tonight, is to do that from the posting, because there was only one person selected, a group training. And so this is that second group training. So thanks for showing up for yourself and for the sake of creating a group of us to do something like this, because otherwise we do it by ourselves, and that's not as entertaining for something that's a technical topic and learning together. It's a fun thing to do with group. So the posting looked something like had a list of high-level technical and types of applications reviewed, all on electrical systems for building and campus systems in North America. The program sheet that comes out of that for training is displayed on the screen here. There's high-level aspects of all of these pieces that a rounded electrical engineer one has exposure and experience with. So we'll just say them out loud as we go through this 3 pages, just so you hear the high level topics, so that when we go back to the agenda, and if you did attend last night, this is necessarily the same agenda, and it's going to be a more detailed discussions. So there are some additional things in here that makes it more detailed discussions. And depending on how much time we have, we might find time to work a problem or otherwise come up with, we want to design this and do it together, because we'll be, unlike last night, we will be opening the code in this group training together and reviewing, where do I go find when I need to do this. So the topics are consulting engineering, which is necessarily the main career path in this PE realm. There's others. Building construction, and that's necessarily talks about an owner coming up with the need for a project, and then you need to get the project done, then codes and standards that are relevant to accomplish that, and what you need to produce, the contract documents. Then it starts to, we talk about constructability of designing things that can be actually installed and purchased and otherwise in the real world, and otherwise within the time constraints of the project and budget and so on. Power calculations, which is key for power design, electricity. Non-motor branch circuits being ones that don't spin, so lights and receptacles mostly. Motor branch circuits, so being, and when I say branch circuit, I mean the last circuit before, it's the circuit with the utilization equipment. So it's not feeding other panels and sub panels, it's the one feeding the things that are accepting the electricity or demanding the electricity to do work for something. So these are the branch circuits. So the motor branch circuits spin. They have inrush associated with them. They also have rotation, which is a hazard. So there's electrical code considerations for that. Power system design. Last night, I didn't have the amount of time to really touch on this. So tonight we will be attempting to, because we have a half hour longer than last night. So we have an hour and a half, and then a half hour for questions. So likewise, grounding and bonding, I'm not sure, honest, that we will get very far into that in this amount of time either, but fire alarm, communication systems. So we'll talk a little bit more about some of these finer topics. And these are all ones that, again, these are to the extent of a electrical engineer one, meeting the full responsibilities of that job title. The last part is equipment materials. And the goal is, because these exist throughout all of the discussions we had above, that the electrical engineer one understands and is familiar with these. So we'll talk a little bit more detail than we did. Really, the pictures are most helpful. So the other things that we have back here are notes from a previous mentorship session. So we can go to those if helpful, but mostly those are snipped throughout the notes. Not all of them, but feel free to go to the website there, Nebulous, and click on that, and you'll find these same notes that are snipped. I guess I did skip right into, probably because last night we had that session, so I feel like, but obviously there's additional group members here joined. So I should pause to just note, my name is Mike Starr, and I'm an electrical engineer, professional engineer, and for the state, in the state of Wisconsin. And Nebulous LLC, we've already kind of been poking at the website for the sake of the electrical mentorship that Nebulous does. There's also books that I personally write that are hosted on the Nebulous LLC website. These aren't to be asking you to go buy my books. It is just, they're like 99 cents, some of them. So it's really just making you aware of what Nebulous is doing. And that's just publishing and sharing information like we're doing here. So there's 2 free iOS apps as well. So yes, that's Nebulous LLC. And we've discussed intros and versus the fundamentals that we're going to go through tonight. And it looks like we are right on time. Before I start, I just want to say the method that at least I tried to keep this up is to change the text that you see from blue to black, just saying kind of we move past this point in the discussion. But at the end, again, there'll be 30 minutes for us to spend time and talk about specific questions you have, or maybe you've had and you brought here and you planned and hope to be able to ask at some point. We'll have that then. But also along the way, after each one, I'll stop and I'll say, are there any questions? And I'm going to do my best to gauge how much is overlapping with last night, and I'll try and use varied examples that broaden the perspective too. And again, if we have opportunity before the question session, we'll see if we might find a real practical problem. Say we want to design something and flip through the code.